Welcome to the Land Cave. We're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hi.
Yeah, we're here smiling at you, hoping you're having a great Thursday night or Friday if you're watching this on YouTube, as we come out a little bit later there on podcasts. Usually the same night. I'm actually proud of that. So you can wake up Friday morning and listen.
Last week, I was a little surprised. I was like, "Oh, I got a podcast ready."
Yeah, I try to get that for for the people as they're getting their early morning commute as the average. And we have a couple people here who work in the evenings, so they've actually seen the podcast pop up while they're at work, and they're like, this is great. So happy about that. Love our podcast listeners. Happy we're here, and make sure you guys are tweeting at us and talking to us on Facebook, because you kind of podcast feels like that's a one-way media, but it isn't. It's not a one-way street here.
Especially with all the spicy stuff I've been putting out this week.
Oh yeah.
Lots of good stuff on Facebook.com/TheLanCave.
That's right. And you get it earlier, because you can wait to listen to our sexy voices and everything, or you can just follow us and check it out later. Yeah. So I've actually been playing more games, I think, than you this week. You said not really that much. I dug into After Party.
Yeah, did you get it on sale?
I got it on sale. I was wanting to pick it up anyways. I loved Oxenfree.
Mm-hmm.
And this
did you get it on PSN or Switch?
PSN.
Yeah,
and
so it was like $14.99.
Yeah, $14.99, and it chugs. It chug. I don't.
What?
Yeah,
don't you have a Pro?
I have a PS4 Pro. It chugs in an area that afterwards I realized that the area is really when the game is loading into the next bit. This part right here chugs, and you're like, why is it doing that? You're playing an animation. Then I realized, oh, that's when it's loading the next stage for you. So your gameplay isn't really, every now and then there's a little bit of jankiness, but the gameplay isn't affected as much. But it surprised me that this on PS4 Pro, this would chug even to load like that.
Is it as funny as advertised?
I believe that it is. It is very dark. There are some really dark stuff. There's some, and right off the bat, there's some, and I don't mind some kind of evil dark humor and everything. I was surprised by a good amount of it, and some funny stuff, like a joke about someone being there, because if you guys don't know, they're in hell and they have to out party the devil. That's the premise of the game.
As you do.
It's I think that's about 30 minutes into the game when you see that part. There's a joke in there about someone being sent to hell for going to the grocery store and always using the less than 15 items or less than 20 items, and they have more than 15 items. And I thought that was funny. Yeah, I thought that was really, stuff like that where I'm like, because you look at that and you're like, man, I wish something would happen. I wish someone would do something about this, and apparently the devil does. So, yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of that show. Have you watched that at all? The Good Place?
Yes, a little bit of that.
The show is hilarious.
Yeah.
But because obviously that show's on broadcast television, so it's clean.
Yes.
I imagine this one's a little bit more vulgar.
Very dark. Yeah, very vulgar as well. Yeah, curse words.
But if you're a fan of Oxenfree, or even if you've never heard of Oxenfree and you love narrative-based games like I do, Oxenfree is fantastic. I want After Party. It is on that list of want to play.
Sure.
I have not bought it yet because and you can see it over on the Facebook page. I actually got into this app recently called GG that I'm telling everybody about because it's awesome. But I started building the backlog, and I literally just put the games that I have downloaded on consoles right now, and I haven't done my Switch yet. Wow. But even on PSN, on my PlayStation alone, I have 9 games downloaded that are just hey, you downloaded me. You should probably play me.
You should play some Borderlands 3.
Yeah, that's still sitting there.
Just to set expectations. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. I was gonna play the next thing up on my list, which was this indie game that I bought during E3 last year, and I'm trying to think of it. And then I just played Battlefront.
Yeah, well, that Battlefront's good. But one thing, real quick, before we talk about Battlefront, I'll set the expectations on Oxenfree versus this.
Yeah,
Oxenfree has in my opinion, a more nuanced and rich narrative overview, layout, whatever you want to call it. This is more straightforward. Where Oxenfree, there's a lot more mystique of what's going on.
Okay.
It's a little bit more nuanced in this case, but this is
not
good.
really not really any seemingly branching paths or anything.
There's branching paths. There are branching paths, and there are choices that you make. There are multiple ways to get things done, as well as a choice. They literally are like, "Hey, I just want you to answer these random questions," and I'm like, "Whitney, that's part of the random generate." Like, you're seeing things like that. Oh, and there's some meta jokes in there too.
So you mean that in the sense that, like, with Oxenfree, where you weren't sure what was causing what was going on, this is like, hey, you're in hell. And you're trying to get out of hell.
And and it's also like there are jokes about the meta. Like, I'll ruin a joke for you, but the first place that you're at a party, a regular party, and if you go talk to the DJ and you say talk, they say, "Hey, can you play something else?" And he says, "Sorry, they only programmed one song." Like, and then she says, "What?" And he says something else. Like there's a lot of meta like that, which I thought was fun.
I can see that.
Whitney didn't get it. I was like, they're talking about the game developers.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So Battlefront, still enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I put an absurd amount of hours in that game since New Year's. I'm not playing it every day or anything, but like it just hooked me. Like, I really like that there's no in-game voice chat. It can get annoying at times because you're like, would you just play the objective, please? But at the same time, I really don't care because, like, I don't care if it's one of the first multiplayer games I've ever played where, like, I don't care if I lose per se. Like,
you're having fun no matter what.
Yeah. It's annoying if it's close. Where like there's some matches where it has actually been decided by like less than 5 points or something like that, and you're like, man, I really wanted that. But then a lot of the games are epic blowouts, and so it really just becomes like my individual one-on-one fights with people, and it's really satisfying whenever I beat somebody out. Like not just standing in front of them and shooting them, but being able to like dodge roll and stuff and being like actually employing some sort of tactic against them to win a fight. And plus, dude, stormtroopers are OP. I think it's like a thing versus like, hey, they suck in movies and television, so we're gonna make them super powerful. Like there was one that he flashed earlier where the stormtrooper in the red suit is
Sith
ridiculous,
trooper, right? Yeah,
ridiculous. Like, he's so good.
Yeah.
I have discovered that I hate playing with, like, I hate the heroes unless you're doing like a heroes only match.
Sure. Because
it's just not fair. Like, I can't kill them. Like, if you like manage to get behind them and like scored some hits because they're being dumb or something, but otherwise you're just screwed. You're just dead.
Yeah.
That's the only like. That's the only thing that I don't like about the game. And then I've considered going through the campaign again. But on our Facebook page, I mentioned reviews, and somebody mentioned like reviewing kind of retroactively going back on some games. So I think I'm going to make this my first review.
That'd be good.
That I'm going to post here probably next week.
Yeah. I really hope that the latest rumors are true, which I thought I had something queued up on here, but it's fine, I don't. I'm going to talk
Star Wars game?
Well, no, of PlayStation 5, because rumors are that it's going to be backwards compatible to everything, and meaning PlayStation 1 through 5. And that's 100% possible, especially what they've done with PlayStation View and everything. It just makes me wonder, if it will let me put a PS3 disc in it, and Xbox style, download the PS3
unlock
version
the key,
of it, unlock the key just like the Xbox. If it does that, I'm going to be playing a lot of PS3 games. I'll just say that right now.
I'll buy the Resistance trilogy like tomorrow if they say that that's possible, because I haven't played all of I played like Resistance 1. Yeah. And that was just on like a friend's PS3. I want them to remaster it. Like, it's been too long, but I want that game like now. And on
a good controller, because say what you want about the PS3
the 6-axis sucks.
I didn't like it. I actually, shortly after I bought my PS3, and because I knew I could do this, I had played with a third-party controller, which was literally aftermarket to be in the same configuration and the same feel as an Xbox controller, but it was on PlayStation, and it was perfect.
Offset sticks?
That's the only, I mean, either way, I mean, you can buy them either way, but at the time I was like, hey, I'm switching between my Xbox and my PS3. I wanted something convenient, and but the biggest thing was the the light touch of the PS3 sticks sucked, in my opinion.
The lightness overall, like you
Yeah.
feel like you're holding that PS3 controller and you're like, I'm gonna break this thing.
It's
man.
a toy.
It's worse than the Wii U Pro controller,
Mm-hmm.
which was also just super light, like
Tiny piece of plastic. Yeah.
You have the
yeah.
Stadia controller, right?
I do.
I like, even though Stadia is failing, that controller has a good weight. Like
Yes.
I don't feel like it's a clunky toy.
So does
I feel
the Switch Pro
this
controller.
feels good. Yeah, the Switch
Yeah.
Pro controller is great. The DS4 is solid. It's definitely like it has a useless touchpad in there.
Yep.
But I also like, if they took the touchpad out, I'm like, what would you do with all this space in here? But like, I would still want the weight of all the tech that's in there.
Yeah, no, I agree. It feels real. It feels more quality when it's heavy. Like immediately, I'm thinking of like of Jurassic Park when talking about when they pick up the night vision goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Where it's
Okay.
like, is it heavy?
Then it's
That means it's expensive. Put it away.
Yeah, that's. Sorry, I couldn't understand you before. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because as soon as I feel it, I'm like, yeah, this is real. Like this is quality. And
I know what you're talking about? You're talking about one of the best movies of the 90s.
Oh, 100%. Great quotable movie. Great quotable. Like every time like there's any like gore going on, like in like a movie, Whitney will start quoting Hammond about like the chef making a lovely Chilean sea bass.
Yeah,
like,
still holds up too. Like
does.
there's a couple moments where the Velociraptors look bad, but the T-Rex still looks great.
Yeah, T-Rex still looks great, and the majority of the shots, the close-up shots that matter, it's a puppet, and that's why it looks good. Anyways, we could geek out about all this kind of stuff all day.
Let's talk about some news.
Let's talk about some news. Resident Evil 3 in the news, as we've been talking about the remake coming out. There was a rumor, then it was real. Now we're hearing some changes are happening, and
changes.
turn and face the strange. But anyways, the news here, basically they're removing the multiple endings, or they said it's gone. I don't know if that means that those endings are gone. I'm assuming it means multiple endings are gone, and they're making Carlos's section more, I don't know, I guess.
And Jill looks good.
Jill looks really good. I think that they're trying to do something similar to RE2 where Jill and Carlos will have kind of a maybe not 100% equal, but they'll have kind of half and half, which I don't mind. I feel like, I don't know if they were doing that just so that way you get more of a man in there. I literally don't know if that was the design choice where they're saying, oh, if you play a girl too long, no, you'll love it.
Man, Nemesis would scare the crap out of me.
Nemesis looks great here, which I'm really glad about. I mean, obviously, I'm not as much of a fan of this one as I am Resident Evil 2.
Most people are.
However, after Resident Evil 7, I just want more Resident Evil 7. And sure. I know I'm not in the minority in that, but at the same time, I just have to, every time I see this, I'm like, wait, it's okay. They're probably working on something else. They haven't announced it, but it looks good though. It looks really good so far.
Yeah. So I don't know if you beat the game back in the day.
I didn't.
Okay. So they also removed a mercenaries mode, which was something that you unlocked by beating the game. Mm-hmm. They removed that completely. I don't know how many people it's really going to bug, but that's because that thing that was teased, Resident Evil Resistance, which is a multiplayer. It looks kind of like Left 4 Dead-y, if you haven't watched the trailer for that part, but it looks kind of Left 4 Dead to me. They are including that with Resident Evil 3. So instead of this mercenaries thing, there's this multiplayer Resident Evil Resistance. The only reason I don't think, well, there's two reasons I don't think it bugs anybody. One, because Resident Evil 2 Remake was so good. That Capcom is killing it. They're killing it. They're absolutely killing it. They're doing awesome, and they did an awesome job with the second one, and they turned around and did Resident Evil 3 within a year, which is crazy to me. And the other reason is because people don't really care about Resident Evil 3, like you mentioned. Like, everybody loves Resident Evil 2, and 3 is kind of this afterthought game. So they're like, okay, we're going to change it up. Hopefully it's good. And I'm confident, even though I will probably not play through it, I will watch somebody stream it because the jump scares and stuff, I'm just not a fan. I'll watch somebody play through it, though, and if it's anything like 2, it's going to be awesome. So I'm not gonna say good or bad call on their part for removing the multiple endings. I'm just gonna say, hey Capcom, you're doing a great job, so I trust you.
Yeah, I mean, I trust it, especially if they want to give a more definitive, better, if it helps the story in having that single ending. At the same time, I mean, I like a little bit of nuance in my ending where it's like, all right, here's the regular ending, but here's the special, extra special if you do certain things. Kind of, I like that, like Bloodborne. If you there's certain steps. If you do it, you get what the true ending.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, but at the same time, I don't know. It depends on the narrative. But they did a great job with 2. I need to beat 2. I really, really like it, though.
Yeah, they're doing so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, talk about like, Capcom was doing nothing but, like, Street Fighter, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, here's some Monster Hunter. Here's some Resident Evil 2. Here's some Devil May Cry 5. Like, what else do you guys want? I want a good Mega Man. Mega Man 11. Mega Man 11 was fun. Oh, yeah, Konami, you need to come back. Rare, I could use some Banjo-Kazooie. That would be cool.
You know, it'd be really cool for Rare to do, to be like, hey, guess what we're doing? We're doing GoldenEye. and you know what?
A campaign heavy GoldenEye. It's got like not focused on the multiplayer. I want to be awesome James Bond crawling through the vents, shooting that dude in the bathroom, like we all famously did.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to do. Like, I'm not talking about like, oh, they do need to do another James Bond game. No, they need to do another GoldenEye game. Do a remake of GoldenEye. Have Rare do it. It would be bonkers. We'd all play it. Like of course, it has to have some multiplayer in there. But yeah, campaign, get it right. It's gonna be awesome. Speaking of things that need to be done right that aren't, so Xbox Series X, essentially, it's not gonna have any first-party exclusives at launch.
Okay, and I was wondering which story you're going with first.
I'm going with this one first because I feel like, well, we can go with either one, but having no first party exclusives at launch confused some people where they're like, what about Halo? Yeah, Halo's coming, but it's also coming to the Xbox One and all of the Xbox One family, and I don't know how to feel about this. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews where people are saying, oh, this is good because that gives people time, but it also doesn't give an incentive to say this is the new killer app, this is the new hotness. You got to get an Xbox to play the new Halo. You got to get an Xbox to play new whatever. I thought that was kind of disappointing, and PlayStation is doing the opposite. So, thoughts? Very different strategy.
So PlayStation is absolutely doing the opposite. That's the other story, is that they clarified. They're like, there will be launch exclusives.
Yeah.
Here's why. I'm going to say one that I don't like it, but I'm going to devil's advocate for this second.
Sure.
That as far as Xbox goes, is that they are no longer necessarily caring if you buy their hardware. Because of xCloud and because of PCs. And so they're saying, if you get Game Pass, you can already play all of our exclusives, and once we launch xCloud across iOS and all of Android, then you can get Game Pass and just play Halo on your phone, and then you don't have to buy an Xbox and we don't care because we're already we're saving money by not having to make you the hardware, and here's the software, and that's what we really want you to buy anyway.
Yep, subscriptions are they're not the future, they're the modern
present.
Yeah, they're the present. It's no longer the future. Subscription models are everything. Pro Tools that I use for mixing and everything is now subscription based. So instead of spending $600 to buy the software, you can sub for them and you get whatever the latest and greatest is, because they realized with the velocity of money that if you charge a small amount, first of all, people don't notice and they keep paying, and more people will pay you that small amount than will have paid you the $500 for your new Xbox One X. It didn't sell that well because it was $500. It's a great console, sure, but you're trying to hit the medium of a console market and PC master race. So
well, when we say it didn't sell well, I want to do a minor correction. It is the best-selling Xbox.
The Xbox One X?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
That, I mean, it may have changed since they did all the digital sales, like the all digital and the Black Friday sales.
I thought
but
the S, yeah.
initially, when early last year, it was the highest selling Xbox console because of the hardware that was in it. It was the price that, like, you were getting some premium console hardware for the price, and the only reason I don't like it is just because of what it means in terms of like the future of consoles. And we've talked about this before. We've talked about it a lot this last year. Is that this might be the last console generation, and this kind of thing is the sign of it. I don't know if Microsoft like continues making a whole bunch of boxes unless they're trying to go into a space where they're going to start making like diskless things that can still produce your xCloud, so like xCloud machines, like we've talked about several times and speculated about. Like, I think that that's a great idea. Like, here's just a dedicated box that, like, it has a small amount of memory, so you can still download your Netflixes and your Hulus and all that stuff that you need, and then anything gaming related is xCloud. I could see stuff like that. That's the only reason I hate it, is because you're not compelling anybody to buy the Series X. You're saying, we don't care if you buy this, just get Games Pass and give us your $9.99 a month. That's what we really want.
Agreed. But I will say, if the other rumor is true, then it'll be an interesting like pivot to be like, hey, we don't care, but we kind of care, because the other rumor is that Xbox Series X will support Steam and Epic Game Store. And if that's true, that's amazing, especially with cloud sales.
I'll drop $1,000 on that machine if it does that.
Because then you don't need a PC to play those Steam games. If it can run, if it can support Steam, you can launch, I don't know, Knights of the Old Republic or something like that on your Steam box. That'd be cool. It would amounts to an Xbox Steam box. Yeah.
I'll drop $1,000 on an Xbox if it runs Epic, Steam, and the Microsoft Store. Like, no contest. This rumor I don't think is really gonna pan out. They've made it famously hard on the Xbox One. You cannot run Windows on the Xbox One. It's literally impossible. They've made it to, like, you can't do it. And so it'd be a really weird pivot to make the Series X do this. But the other weird reason is because Steam takes a 30% cut, Epic takes a 12% cut. They would just be saying, like, hey, you know, you could run your store. I think this is a really weird thing to me, but I only included it because it's such a cool rumor. Because if this happened, and you can sell me a awesome gaming level rig for $1,000 that is easy, like non-Windows, I don't have to worry about updating every single stupid driver all the time like I do with PCs, which is why I hate them. I will buy it. $1,000. Give it to me.
No, I agree. And I mean, I'm already in a situation where I do two things on this PC. Two things on this PC, which is the show. Oh, sorry, three things. The show, video editing, and playing Magic the Gathering Arena. Those are the only three things that I do on this PC now. I do everything else on my Chromebook. It's easier, it's quicker, the same, and I'm accessing the same stuff, and it's quicker. So, yeah, it's just and you know, I keep getting it where they're like, you can hook a PC up to your TV, and I'm like, I get that I can. It's just it's annoying. Like, I did it. Yeah.
It just comes down to the, like, it's not just as simple as, like, I'm going to run some Windows updates, which also, by the way, are atrocious. Every time I turn on my computer, like, why is it that it can't be like a Mac update? Like, if you don't know anything about Macs, all their updates are contained into one update, right? So, like, if you update to their next software, it's just going to include everything before that. With Windows, you literally have to update to the one so that you can go to the next one, so that you can go to the next one. It's annoying. And then you have to update your graphics card. And then you have to update the game launcher. And then you have to update the game. Like, at least with consoles, I can just put it on standby mode to where there's not much power running, and it does all that updating in the background, which you can kind of do for the PC, but at the same time, you have to, like, log in and stuff.
You have to log in. You have to boot up the PC. It doesn't have a nice sleep mode that is so low power that does all those things. I put a PC in my living room for a while, and it was cumbersome. Not just visually, but it was. But trying to, like, running things on it was more of a chore than it is on a console. and the wife never wanted to play anything on it. Like, she wanted to play on the Xbox or the PlayStation because she can just play. When you're in the mood to play, you just want to play. I don't want to update. And at least on PlayStation and Xbox, if you do have to update the game, it doesn't really take that long, usually. Or loading. You don't have to reload multiple applications.
Preload, babies.
You should. Yeah. But what I mean is, like, even if you did, it doesn't take that long, and you don't have to, all right, let's install this, let's reload. Oh, you got a driver issue. There's no troubleshooting. It just works, which is what the Xbox would need to do if they were doing something like this. Because I told you about my horror story trying to play Knights of the Old Republic on my PC, and I couldn't get it to run. That's not something you want for gaming. I want it to work, and because I'm in the mood to game, and I've got limited time. I don't have 2 hours to troubleshoot. I do that enough in life.
I like to play.
But on the happy things, Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC.
Speaking of you PC people,
That's some cool stuff. This
is a rumor, but it's a rumor that's been put out by Jason Schreier.
Yeah.
So that means it's probably legit. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool, but I also think it's interesting because if I'm correct, this will be the first party game. There have been some Sony published games that have come to PC, like famously Quantic Dreams stuff like Detroit Become Human, and those have come to PC. There's a few other ones that have as well, but this will be the first party game that comes to PC from PlayStation. I think it's a great move. I think it's a great sales move. I think there's plenty of PC people that are never going to play your stuff anyway, and now you get to put your game in front of those people.
Yeah, and I'd agree. I mean, I love this game. I do find it funny though, because they did when Horizon Zero Dawn came out, they specifically were talking about Aloy being like, a PlayStation mascot. And I think they even were name dropping how Sonic was for Sega and how Nathan Drake was for Uncharted in the PlayStation 3 era. They were saying we want this to be kind of a mascot of sorts, which I thought was really interesting. And so if this happens, I mean, it maybe that was, they were just kind of talking up the game, or maybe it just shows the difference in time where they know they're the winners of this console generation. They're probably going to win next generation, and they can look at this and say, you know what, you can play our game elsewhere. That's fine. You're still going to buy other stuff on our ecosystem. Anyway.
I'm not gonna call them winning yet. I will say, I thought the things that came to mind that interested me about this. One, it's again the first party. I don't think they're going to be quite as up to Game Pass level, but it does make me think, because you can already get PS Now on PC. It's not very well advertised. It's not even very often used, as far as I know. I think they have some decent numbers on PS Now, but it's nothing great. I still haven't even tried the free trial of it, just because I'm too busy playing current games that I'm not going to go backwards in time. But it makes me wonder if with the PS5 reveal that I didn't put this in the lineup. I don't think. Did I put the rumored PS? No. No. Yes, I did. Sorry. So I'm kind of skipping ahead. But with the potential reveal coming up, that what if they're expanding PS Now and they're going to talk about it being on PC? So what if with this rumor they're saying, hey, Horizon's going to come to PC on PlayStation Now, and so is every other PlayStation 4 first-party exclusive.
That'd be insane.
Like, what if they drop that with the PS5? I think that would be cool, along with the fact, I'm going to call it right now, Horizon Zero Dawn 2 launch title.
Yeah, I think that's a solid launch title. It's a great idea for a launch.
It's the best launch title.
It's a great time. Yeah, it's the best. I mean,
other than Halo,
yeah.
or like a Last of Us or something that already comes out.
Which is funny, because this is the first time that Halo has launched with a console in like 15 years or some stupid stuff like that. Like, you'd think that they would be packaging that and timing it, but they haven't. And I didn't think about it. They did miss the last two console launches. The Halo did not launch with Xbox 360 or Xbox One. I think that because we know Last of Us is not going to be a console exclusive to PlayStation 5, I think that this would be a great choice. They need You need something other than amazing graphics to get people to buy your game. You need something. You need the killer app that says this is the only way you're going to get it is here. You can do a timed exclusive if you have to, but a straight up exclusive is the best way in my opinion.
Yeah, Robert said where he's like, I think it's trying to draw PC people and decide if they're gonna make a console a second. Honestly, with Game Pass, like, you have no reason to buy an Xbox if you're already a PC player because you can just have Game Pass. So you should be making it's either the Switch or the if you're a one console thing, you're either going to get a Switch or you're going to get a PlayStation. Like, there's zero reason to get an Xbox if you're a PC player. So it could just be, you could absolutely be right that it's like, here's a taste.
Yeah.
But I just think that with what Xbox is doing, that that's where Sony could easily lose next gen if they're not willing to evolve past the PlayStation and like make PlayStation not only a brand of consoles but just make it a brand of gaming, if that makes sense. Like,
sure,
it's a weird way to say that, but like, it's already a brand, but you know what I mean, like expanding that brand and saying like PlayStation on PC. Like,
yeah,
I think that's I think it's a thing, and I think that it would be really super insanely awesome if that's what we hear. I'm gonna skip ahead of the Smash story. I don't care, but like, if that's what we hear next month.
Yeah. No, actually, I was gonna skip as well and possibly circle back, but we'll figure it out. You mentioned jumping forward to talking about the rumors and everything. We had a rumor, and then it was confirmed that PlayStation, Sony, and PlayStation skipping E3, and then we have a rumor, and that was confirmed. Now we have a rumor that next month we'll get a reveal of the PlayStation 5. And I think that would be amazing. I think that we are way too close to a launch, in my opinion. We are too close to have not had the official like sizzle. Like, I need doesn't even have to be a deep dive. Show me how amazing this stuff is in a way that the average person will understand, because a lot of it's been tech talk. Let's give it to the masses now. Let's show them why they need to get ready for this holiday season.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm bummed. I'm bummed that they're skipping E3.
Oh, I'm
before
too.
Before I talk about February, we've talked about it before. I just love E3. Like, I understand why, like, E3 is going to die. Just for the record, if anybody does not really keep their ear to the ground on this, E3 is going to die. It's not going to happen
4 or
this
5
year.
years. 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
The ESA really sucks, and they're the people who run E3. They don't evolve. They don't adapt. They don't give the companies what they want. They rent an extremely expensive place in California, and it costs these companies tons and tons of money to be there. And that's why you have Microsoft, for example, isn't even officially at E3. Like, they do an E3 press conference, but they actually do it next door. Like, they don't do it because they want to pay their own amount of money. They make their own deal. EA does their stuff down the street or something, like it's nearby, but it's not there. Nintendo is technically there, but they don't do a big press conference there. They just they have some floor space, and then they do their Nintendo Direct. And then there's a bunch of smaller companies that spend money, but it's going to die. And Sony skipping 2 years in a row is really just showing, like, I know Nintendo is famously the first people that stopped doing a press conference, but Sony not being there at all.
And Sony being the front runner. So Sony being the front runner and the leader in this console race and this console generation by a landslide. Yeah. And they're saying, it's okay. We don't have to show off our new PlayStation at E3. We don't have to show off our new hardware at E3. That's unheard of. That is completely unheard of. E3 was the place I'm thinking of things, not only consoles, but also peripherals that, like, if it's new, it's hot. This is the platform to show it on. Now, just put something on YouTube. People will go check out the YouTube video for your 20-minute Nintendo Direct.
And this is where it gets so interesting. This year is like, I'm so excited. Not because I'm excited about the games this year. Don't get me wrong. There's some fantastic titles coming out. But I was thinking about it today before the show that this has got to be the most interested and excited I've been about console reveals because of things like Game Pass, because of things like PlayStation Now, because of things like PC, because of things like xCloud. Yeah. I really want to know what they're going to do, because Xbox is still going to be at E3 probably. They haven't said that they're not. And I expect the Series X to be revealed in detail at E3. So that's summertime. So let's say Sony gets February. if they do it, they're taking a huge leap. They're giving Microsoft 3 months to prepare. And, you know, I'm not saying that they're not already preparing, but they're giving them any time to react. Just like, I mean, famously, Xbox and PlayStation 4 both did it at the same time. And by Xbox going first and then PlayStation coming in second there, where they were able to just be like, oh, well, you made a couple stupid mistakes. Let's capitalize on that. Xbox has a couple of months to say, like, if you say anything stupid about your console reveal, we get to make fun of you for it.
Yeah.
And do it in a way that makes us the desired place to go for the people who aren't console loyal. Yeah. It's so exciting. I can barely contain myself just because I really want to know what they're going to do from a marketing standpoint. I really want to know what they're going to do from a company standpoint. It's a really nerdy thing to say. Like, obviously, I want my console. I want to see what exclusive games you're going to bring me, and obviously we're going to talk about that too. But I can't wait to talk to you guys about just like, dude, Sony said PlayStation now is bringing every PS4 game, and you know, like, just I want, you know, and like you said, that rumor, like, give me that backwards compatibility, like to PS1, and then they put their console out at $450. Isn't that insane? If they do anything less than 500, that's gonna be awesome. By the way,
dude, okay. So I've talked in the past about how, like, part of me wants to, like, collect games. Part of me wants to do that, but if I did, it wouldn't be like, oh, I'm collecting everything. It'd be the good games, the games that I really want to play and really want to jump back in. And if the PlayStation 5, like I said, has that, you know, put in the disc, unlocks the key, if you can do that for discs down to PlayStation 1, because they're all disc format, you don't have a Nintendo situation where you have a different format every generation. If I could put in, like, Final Fantasy 7 and it downloads Final Fantasy 7 onto my PlayStation, if I could put in Intelligent Cube or another game that I really want to play,
deep cut.
Yeah, it's a fun one though. I was really happy it's on the PlayStation Classic. Like, I did not.
It's the only reason
that.
I wanted one.
Yeah, it's not a bad mini. I think it's high priced for, and now you can get them for a decent price, but for the price that it came out at, it was too much. And I enjoyed playing it. Even then, I was like, I spent too much on this.
Dude, somebody in a GameStop warehouse is like, please make the PlayStation 1 backwards compatible. We're just sitting on stuff. We are sitting on more games than the ET garbage dump of the 80s.
Because seriously, GameStop, I mean, and GameStop needs help right now. But holy crap, if they were like, oh yeah, you can buy your PlayStation 5 and pick up some of the games that are that are in that giant bin or whatever it is. Obviously, they're not going to put the high dollar stuff in there, but man, think about all the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4 GameStop would immediately have stock, and you could grab what is essentially now retro gaming stuff would be relevant immediately. I know, but it's true. PlayStation 1 is true. PlayStation 1 is technically retro, just like Nintendo 64 is. It hurts, but man,
that was like a little heartburny.
I know. You gotta take your Tums. You're all right.
Damn.
I know. It makes us feel old, but I'm like, but that's how it is. I'm like, it's right there. It's weird that that's retro, where, like, I think retro gaming, I think NES and Genesis and everything, but PlayStation came out 23 years ago.
I think it would also be cool just to see. I mean, there's so many IPs that PlayStation was sitting on. I was going over that the other day, just again, like the things that I do when I'm bored, of like IPs that we haven't seen in forever, like Time Splitters and like Dark Cloud, it's just. Oh man, there was a couple other really good ones.
25 years, by the way. 25 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah, and like that, like, think about all those IPs, and then imagine like being able to like go somewhere and see those kind of numbers. Like, what are people playing? Like, from the olden days. The only thing that's going to happen is that they're going to run into a problem. They're going to run into the same problem that Xbox does. I'm still hoping they do it. Anything first party, they shouldn't necessarily have a problem, but anything that's licensed, that's never coming back, probably. Like, they would have to pay for those licenses again. Like anything that imagine like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and like the soundtrack in that game, they would have to pay for that to make that happen. I'm not saying Sony couldn't do it, but
that's the only
just like with Xbox though, that's like there's probably would be some limitations, and but as long as there's an updated list, like you can Google right now what Xbox and Xbox 360 games can I put in my Xbox One. It's a rolling list that's updated all the time.
Yeah, I think they just finished. They just finished their update. Stopped updating.
It would be so cool to just see what IPs people were playing again, and maybe potentially be like, hey, Sony, you want to make another Time Splitters, dude? Like, you want to make some Colony Wars? Like, bring it back. There's so many games that if you just brought those IPs into the modern era, it'd be sweet.
Yeah. Do you remember Black and White? On PC, like stuff like that. Like I'm like, there's a lot of really cool stuff.
And I remember all the advertising randomly for Black and White. There was so much advertising for that game.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's craziness. So right before we talk about what I'd say is the last section, I would say is kind of the meat of it. We did get a new movie trailer out this week. I wanted to talk about because Morbius came out, and you had some passing thoughts. And I read what you said on Facebook, and I was like, oh, well, I'll watch the trailer. And then I immediately thought, okay, this looks good, but basically to steal your thunder, why am I rooting for this guy?
Yeah.
Like, why am I rooting for the bad guy who goes too far, and now it's a villain story, and I'm supposed to root for him. And I'm saying that as someone who liked Breaking Bad because it's nuanced enough. I don't know. Maybe Jared Leto will do it, but yeah, it is.
No, it's not. He's a bad guy. Like by the end of that show, he's a terrible person.
Yeah, but he starts off trying to be good. Morbius, he
tries to kill a kid, man.
No, not in the beginning.
No, not in the beginning, but like that's when I was like done with him. Like as soon as like you try and kill a kid, like I'm no longer rooting for you, and I no longer really like this show.
Well, and see, like I for me it was like I went from rooting for him to like just seeing if he's gonna even get away with it. Where like Dexter, I was kind of rooting for him the whole time because he's doing something ethical, even if he is killing. He is doing something ethical. You can argue that. I mean, I'm not going to say that killing is right. I'm just saying there is a goodness in what he's doing, even if it's messed up.
So this thing going like with Morbius, like it's just so if you watch the Spider-Man cartoon, Morbius actually turns out to be a good guy. Starts dating Black Cat, like, and he's cool and does good things. But like, and I'm sure that there's something like this that happens. But it's not only anti-hero stuff. It's like, who's the antagonist here? Is the disease the antagonist, or is the people? is the military, because they're probably going to end up being involved because the military is always involved, just like with Hulk. Sure. Like, is the military the antagonist here? Like, it's the same thing that's about to happen with Black Adam, which The Rock's going to be, where they're going to somehow make Black Adam a good guy. And I'm like, Black Adam's a villain. Yeah, like that dude is not Rock called him an anti-hero, and they're obviously going to change his backstory. But Black Adam's a bad dude. Yeah. And I don't like that at all. Like, I like that The Rock finally got to be the character that he wanted to be. Like, he's wanted to be Black Adam, and that's cool for him. But Black Adam is bad. Like, he acted like he was just totally ignoring that. He's like, I like the guy who doesn't play by the rules. I'm like, Black Adam kills people.
Well, I mean, technically, yeah, he doesn't play by the rules because he's it's an example. In the first Shazam movie, I mean, I guess they're going to try to make it. Hopefully, it's not a Batman versus Superman situation where they fight and then they realize that they're both okay, and then they got to fight Godzilla or something. I really hope it's not like that, but it's probably going to be. The Shazam, like, they illustrate that. They're like, we gave it to the wrong person, and he went power hungry. He did all this stuff. Like, they set it up there. Now, I'm sure what they're going to do is be like, oh, it was a misunderstanding, and I'm angry about something else, and that's just going to be stupid.
Yeah, and so I just don't know. I don't know who I'm supposed to root for. I don't know, like, it's like watching Joker. And I haven't watched Joker, and I refuse to watch Joker. But I read the whole script. Like, I know what happens and everything. But you can't root for that guy. Like, you can't. No. You can barely root for him in the beginning, and you can be like, "Oh, yeah, it sucks." Like, it's not a good thing. Like, but who's the antagonist in Joker? The cops, like the society and its suppression of the mentally ill. Like, I don't get these movies where you're just supposed to like kind of root for them because they're the central character, but like, or if you're just supposed to be uncomfortable.
You're supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to be like, look how raw and real this is, and this is like, And there's a slight tinge of uncomfortability of like them doing something that not necessarily you would do, but you're like, man, I wish someone would shut this person up, and then they do that thing, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm uncomfortable with how that makes me feel as a person. Not that I would do that, but the fact that I had negative views towards someone. I think it's more about that, and I'm going to. We have two people in the. I really want to talk about a movie that I watched recently, but I don't want to spoil anything.
How recent is it?
It just got nominated. It got nominated for Academy Awards, so it's pretty recent.
Are you gonna talk about a Parasite movie?
Yeah, I'm talking about Parasite.
You can't. I mean, you can't spoil it because
I'm not going to spoil it.
I'm not going to. You can talk about the movie, but you can't. I will say that mention things that are on the Academy list.
No. Oh, I will say that you start off. You're like, oh, I see these people and what's going on in their lives, and then shortly after, like I think we're 15, 20 minutes into the movie, I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, because I kid you not, I thought that Parasite was going to be a horror movie, just by the name, and because because it's what I usually watch, and I'm like, oh, it must be some horror movie. Whitney and I started watching it, and like 15, 20 minutes in, obviously we're like, oh, it's not a horror movie. Oh, wait, this is what they're doing. And I didn't really root for anybody in that entire movie. Like, but it's more about like, look at this situation. There may be other people who it's no one is a good person in the movie other than like maybe one person, but it's great. It's a great movie though. It's not a horror movie. It's great, but it'll give you anxiety.
I'm sure that there's like, I don't know. I can't say I'll ever watch it. If it's ever on something, but those kinds of movies where I'm just like, maybe I'm just not Kino enough. I want, I don't necessarily want like good versus evil all the time or anything like that, but I want to like.
You want Kino?
I want a character Kino that I like.
Okay, you want Kino. Lighthouse. The Lighthouse was amazing with Willem Dafoe and what's his name, Robert Pattinson.
Robert
Batman.
Pattinson. I heard it was great.
It's really good, but it is an art film. And I didn't know that going in. And a lot of the techniques were like they used the techniques that you would have used in like say the 40s and 30s, like of shooting movies. A lot of old school art, like German art kind of shots and old school special effects. It's great, and I can't tell you how many people don't understand how deep it is. And I'm not trying to sound pretentious in saying that, but man, that movie's good.
I mean, it probably is. It's just like anybody who wants to tell me that Citizen Kane is good. It's like, no, it's not. It's boring. But it has a lot of or 2001: A Space Odyssey. That movie sucks too. But
no, it does not.
You can't.
Citizen Kane is overrated. 2001 is.
I don't like the term overrated. I don't have a problem disliking something that a lot of people like, but both of those movies
it is a slow burn.
Are not
I will say it is a slow burn. Lighthouse is a slow burn, and then the ending.
4 hours long?
No. It's like 2 hours. I think it's an hour and a half or 2 hours long. But just the pacing. If you you didn't watch Witch, because I know it's not up your alley, but Witch is very much like that. Where
I've watched very few things this year.
Yeah, that was 3 or 4 years ago. Witch. Okay. And it is like it's just the pacing is just really drawn out, and then it has this big crescendo at the end, and you may or may not understand the impact of it. So,
which movie depending on where you're talking, Parasite. Robert, he was talking about Parasite or The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I think I was talking about Parasite when he was talking about that, and I will say I really enjoyed Parasite and I really enjoyed Lighthouse. They are very different movies. They may or may not be up your alley. I would say Parasite's up more people's alley than they would realize. Lighthouse is going to be a slim group of people, and I get it.
I do want to move into this last section, but before did you see, just since we're on the nerdy movie things, did you see the last Black Widow trailer?
I did. Wait, no, I don't know if I saw the last Black Widow.
It like appeared during like I think the playoffs this weekend or something. It may have been during the college football championship.
No, I didn't.
We'll take a look at it because they show some more Taskmaster.
Ooh. Okay, wait. Yes, I did. Yes, I did see that. Yes, because the first one you don't see him, or you see him like very briefly.
Yeah, they flash his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say about that, like, I honestly don't know what Marvel has left in the tank. I think this movie's long overdue in giving Black Widow not necessarily an origin story, but just giving her something, because she did such a great job throughout, like, ScarJo as Black Widow, like, was a fantastic character throughout the
from
MCU.
the beginning.
So I'm glad that they're doing this.
Yeah.
This movie, Taskmaster's a dope villain. Like, I think that's a great match. With Black Widow, given like the skill set that they've given her in the MCU, and probably in the comics too. I don't really know if they face off in the comics, but check out that trailer. It's cool. I'm not gonna say I'm excited because I am definitely like Marvel fatigued at this point. But if there's a Marvel movie that I want to watch right now, like it's that movie.
Yeah, and I'm more excited about it than I am Wonder Woman 1984, which I can't believe I'm saying that because
like crap.
Yeah, and I'm like, hold on, it's 1984, and I realized, oh, it's gonna be retro nostalgia in your face stuff the entire time, and it's gonna have a very thin plot. I already call the friggin' plot. Like I don't want to say it because I'm pretty sure I could spoil the entire plot right here just by looking at the first trailer, and that irritates me. It really irritates me.
Even then, it's just like there was a whole bunch of people like, what are you talking about? The trailer's great. I'm like, this trailer sucks. Like, the trailer doesn't tell you anything about the movie. And it's just like, oh, hey, here's what's his name? Chris
Pine.
Pine. There's too many Chris's.
Yeah.
Chris Pine. Like, here's Chris Pine. Oh, like, he's not dead. Like, and it's 30 years later, or 50 years later, whatever it was, and he looks the exact same.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I already, just by seeing that and two other things, I'm like, oh, I know how and why he's back.
Yeah.
I know how and what Cheetah is going to be doing in this, which I really don't like her as Cheetah. And then I know exactly what the villain is doing and what she's going to have to do to take him down. Like the fact that like you said, it didn't tell you anything. To me, it told me too much in trying to show the surprises of like, look, he's back. No, he should not be back. No,
from a breakdown.
She's a dunce, and she's a dunce for going for that. Sorry.
You might be able to get some stuff from it, but I'm just talking about like as a trailer. It's not.
Oh, sure.
It was not constructed in a way that's like, hey, here's at least a basic plot like of why we're picking this particular year. Like, what is she up to? Like, it was just a whole bunch of random scenes with 80s music, and now I really will move on. But like that, Black Widow for sure, and
Black Widow 100%. Yeah.
Wonder.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that because the first Wonder Woman was dope.
It was. I love the first Wonder Woman.
The bad.
I've
villain,
been waiting.
But they all have bad villains.
Yeah, I've been waiting for way too long for Black Widow movie. Like I said, the very first movie that she's in Iron Man 2, steals pretty much every scene. And like, obviously part of it was like, oh, she was supposed to be doing that because it's like, oh, because she's sexy or whatever, like in the very first scene, like when it's catching Tony's eye. But it's like, no, she's doing some jujitsu on some people and taking them out. Like, it's great. And the stuff between her and Happy is hilarious too.
That was great. Like, I'm glad that Happy wound up with Aunt May and everything.
Yes.
But like, it was like the slight chemistry there at the beginning. I almost thought that like Jon Favreau was gonna like make that a thing just for fun. Well, I'm okay with the fact that he didn't, but like then again,
he did that with Marissa Tomei though. Do you think he did that on purpose? I mean, come on.
I don't think he directed the other ones.
No, he didn't. No, but I'm just saying like he has enough sway that
he might
have been like, hey, it'd be hilarious if Happy ended up with hot Aunt May. Yeah. There's a chance.
I'd do it if I was him. Like,
I would too. I would. Marissa Tomei, come on.
Just for my cousin Vinny, dude. Anyway,
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is my cousin Vinny. Anyways, we'll talk.
Speaking of things that are I have a non sequitur here. Delays suck.
Yeah, delays suck usually, and I will say most people have been like, you know what, it's okay. I feel I'm fine. Now I'm the dog in the meme where it's like everything's fine. I want to say I really hope this is positive for each and every one of them.
Positive. Yeah.
But I feel like I should do like a memoriam here, like and play like the Oscars like music, and Cyberpunk being delayed.
That just happened today.
Cyberpunk just happened today. I did this in the wrong order. I apologize.
It's okay.
Marvel's Avengers being delayed.
This one needs it the most.
It definitely. Oh yeah, delay this by a year. Like I mean, I do not care. Like, this game needs to be really good.
It looks bad.
Yeah, and as a person who has played a ton of superhero games, they usually aren't great, and the ones that are good are like the best superhero games are mimicking other games that are really good. Where like the old Spider-Man games on PlayStation 2 was like, let's do GTA with Spider-Man, and then the Gotham games, the Arkham games, it was like, let's do Assassin's Creed combat but Batman.
In a Metroidvania.
So this really needs to be good if it's going to stand alone, stand on those shoulders. And I'm hopeful, but man, this looks lame.
I'm sure the story is probably great. They get some great voice actors and stuff. So I would bet if they got those people that it's got to be a banger of a script. But the game, it just doesn't look fun to play.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Or it didn't originally. So I'm wondering what kind of major overhaul they're going through.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm hopeful. Final Fantasy VII has looked great the whole time, but we're getting a delay there too. Painful. I'm
glad I didn't request off yet. I was planning on it.
I've thought about it. I may need to now that we know it's a little delayed and we're probably a little bit more solid. I think I may need to do the same thing. And like I was gonna say we should stream it, but like I don't know. Maybe I'll watch your stream and like hang out in the stream with you.
I might be able to put it on my Twitch stream or something. I'm not gonna because I'm gonna be too busy just playing the game.
Oh yeah,
I can't. I have a kid, so I can't take off too much time anyway. No. But like if I could just take a morning and afternoon off, and it's like, hey, daycare, all right, I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy 7 for like the next 6 hours, and then I'll come pick you up.
Treat yourself a little bit, man. Yeah.
This one doesn't worry me as much. This one's only a few weeks, so it was supposed to come out in March. Now it's on April 6th, I think. Cyberpunk, they said, is finished and playable from beginning to end. So that means that game is broken. Like, the fact that it's delayed this much, they said that it originally was supposed to come out, I think, April 14th.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I'm eyeballing some stuff. There's official tweets and everything. You can just go to CD Projekt Red's Twitter. You can go to Square Enix's Twitter for Final Fantasy VII, and you can go to who owns Avengers? It's Square Enix, but it's Montreal.
Good. It's Square Enix.
The people who made Tomb Raider. Crystal Dynamics. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
So you can go to each of those Twitters and you'll see the actual like statements that they made. Cyberpunk is broken though, so this is telling me like it's just like Witcher 3, except they launched Witcher 3, and I don't know if everybody remembers, Witcher 3 has had a bit of a resurgence because of the TV show. I don't know if you saw this, but like it became one of the top 20 selling games of the year on PSN, and like one of the most highest concurrent counts on Steam. That game was broke when it launched. It was not fun to play at launch, and so I imagine that Cyberpunk is broke, especially with how ambitious it is, because they're delaying it. I think over 3 months. No, April to September. What is that? 5 months.
5 months. 5 months. Yeah. So Avengers and Cyberpunk will now come out in September, and like I said, I hope I would honestly be okay if Avengers got delayed till holiday. I mean that in all sincerity. Like, work on it, take your time, launch it for holiday. That way it's not discounted. This game comes out in September. It's going to be discounted in Best Buy for Christmas, for Black Friday. It has
to go up against Cyberpunk too. So
yeah, bad idea. I feel like Avengers. Like, if I was Avengers, I'd be like, yeah, we're going to delay like just right after Cyberpunk.
Like November.
I would
I don't know. That's Call of Duty season.
But I was gonna say, like, if I was in charge of of not only to do Avengers and also do their like marketing on Twitter, like reply to Cyberpunk, like their statement of saying that they're going to be released, and just as Marvel say, yeah, so I guess we're going to delay another month after that. Like, just to specifically be like, I'm not going to compete with you. Your game's awesome.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's as there's like that meme that goes around. I think it's Miyamoto that said it. It's better to have, it's better to delay a game than it is to rush one, or whatever it is. Like, ultimately, this is good. Like, we want games polished. Like, it's just a bummer time in and time out that marketing and the companies force them to put out these release dates, and they never hit them. I mean, look at like Doom. Doom was supposed to come out in November of last year. It's coming out in spring, and that's the thing that I wanted to like kind of end it with here as we get into wrapping it up, is that even with those delays, Final Fantasy still comes out in April. We get The Last of Us in April. We get Doom in, I think, March. We get Animal Crossing, I think, in March. We get there was something else. We get Ori probably soon. I think Neo 2 comes out soon. Like, the beginning of the year is so stacked anyway. That's the other reason that Cyberpunk doesn't bother me, because when Final Fantasy 7 got delayed, I was like, well, there goes Cyberpunk. Like, I'm not buying that game right away.
Neo 2's coming out in March. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was coming out like in June. I probably have to pick it up. I liked the first one, and I'll probably like this one too.
Yeah, and I know it's a big game for a lot of the Souls people, and I've heard that they actually had to take some player feedback because they made it too hard. So that's funny to me that a Souls game was so hard that people raged about it, and so they've actually had to make it easier. Yeah. But the beginning of this year was so stacked, and Cyberpunk is going to be such a long game, and then I don't even know how I was going to feel about Avengers anyway, even though I probably wanted to pick it up just to see. But if it ended up being like Dragon Ball Z, I don't know if you saw that comes out I think tomorrow. I have no interest in buying that game anymore. I watched 3 people stream it today. It looks is antiquated the right word for when it looks old?
Yeah, that is apt.
It looks very antiquated. It looks beautiful in terms of art, but like they did like an intro, and it was menu after menu after menu. There was like 10 explanations back to back to back on like on Goku's powers, and I was like, this text is so long, and there's so many, like, there's no naturalness to it, so I'm not gonna buy that game anymore. I wanted to. I was excited. It's no long. I need to take it off my desired list.
Yeah. I always have like an inkling to like, oh, I should try out that Dragon Ball game, and then if I see someone playing it and realize what the actual gameplay is, I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna do it for me, which is sad, because it could be like, that could be a really good series that hasn't been able to find its sweet spot yet. But I don't know. Dragon Ball. In regards to video games. In regards to the video game market.
Even if, like, I saw, and I'm sorry, I was updating my playlist.
You're like, deleted.
I wanted to do all I was thinking about. I'm trying to be organized with my games. That it's the same story, so it's the same, like, Frieza Raditz, like, so if you know that story, and I saw one review that was like, if you're new to the series and you've never watched it before, it's a fun way to experience it. If you've seen or played any Dragon Ball game, you've played through this story already or seen this story, and you probably don't need to play it.
It's another example of Peter Parker's the Uncle Ben death, like every single time, and the Waynes dying and getting shot. And Robert Pattinson, you need to put a stop to that if that's like it's on you, not even the director.
You remember whenever we didn't respect Robert Pattinson as an actor, and now like he did some indie movies, and now everybody's like, man, Robert Pattinson's a good actor, dude.
Okay, and I didn't know, like, I'm glad, like, I was gonna trash it when they announced him as like the new Batman, and I was like, I did a little bit, and a few of my friends were like, no, like, you need to watch it. One of them, she's really big on him and a few other people, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And he's done some decent stuff. He's done better work than Hayden Christensen has since his work.
Will people ever forgive Kristen Stewart?
Okay, I did see Underwater this past weekend. She's pretty good in that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I did not see Weak Sauce Bella like the whole time. So
did you see it's an old movie now, but that theme park movie that she's in with the dude from Zombieland?
I haven't. I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it yet, though.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where, like, I was like, oh, Maybe it's just Twilight, and Twilight sucks.
It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Twilight is that bad. Twilight is that bad. It like same thing that Whitney and I talk about this all the time, because I know like you don't diss the prequels as much as we do, but like we watch the prequels and Whitney's sitting there watching it going like he made Natalie Portman sound uninteresting and like completely bland. Natalie Portman, come on.
No, he didn't. I mean, that's what I love me some Natalie Portman. So no,
yeah, I know.
What is that movie? Adventureland.
Adventureland.
It used to be on Netflix. If you're ever looking around, check it out. Yeah, again, surprisingly, like that's where I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like this, but it's good.
Yeah. Nice. Well, let us know what you're into lately. What movies have you been watching? Because I kind of rambled about some movies I watched lately. Would you like to see on YouTube and other places to see some movie review stuff? Would you like us to play some more retro games? What do you want?
Not Dragon Ball, unfortunately.
Not Dragon Ball. We'll see you guys later.